Hey everybody, I'm Derek Mazzoni. Welcome to Sama. We're based in Seattle, but we're literally all over the world. Our focus is to celebrate diversity and champion our shared humanity. We do this through presenting artists from all over the world, sharing their music, sharing their stories, sharing their art form in whatever capacity. Sometimes they get a chance to travel, and they will end up on stages in the United States, in North America. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes they never leave their home countries. Sometimes they never leave their home cities. But their music, their art, their presentation, their essence needs to be shared, needs to be seen, needs to be heard. And that's the main focus of Sama here in Seattle. Today I have a special, very special guest on Sama. Her name is Selma Uamusse. She's from Mozambique. She was born in 1981, and she's been living in Portugal since 1988. She is a singer. She started singing when she was a teenager. She's living in Lisbon. I got a chance to check her out a couple of times. We had a beautiful dinner also at Womex in Lisbon when it was in Porto, but we were in Lisbon beforehand at a beautiful Mozambican restaurant that I'll be talking about with you in a little bit. It was a pretty magical moment that really made me fall in love with Lisbon and made me want to go back to Womex, which we are going to be going to in October. And Selma has agreed to co-host some of these sessions with me at Womex, which I'm really super excited about. She's been working with a lot of different bands. Her background is both in gospel, R&B, different African styles. She's obviously from Mozambique. She's living in Portugal, so she has a really interesting sound and a really interesting quality to her voice and her life. All of these things I'm going to be sharing with you in just a flash. But as always, on Sama, we start with a piece of music, and then we're going to have a conversation with Selma Uamusse. And I think you're going to love this quite a bit. So get ready for it on Sama, Seattle Circuit Music and Art.
Se a tua luz afasta as trevas
thank you for being here.
Thank you for the invitation.
I look forward to working with you more. A couple of quick questions. Tell me about 2019 and the flood in Mozambique. How did that affect you?
Well, Mozambique has been known for the for not such a good reasons, for civil war, for floods, for drought, for terrorism, and 2019 we had like this big floods in the up north, in the northern part of Mozambique, in Beira. It's like just in the center of Mozambique, but also in the north of Mozambique. And of course, Mozambique being Portuguese speaking country, we had like lots of news coming from Mozambique at that time. So I'm just sitting in Lisbon and watching the news. I'm not much of watching news like in a repeated way, but of course it was Mozambique, and I was like watching the news all the time. And so it was really struggling for me to see the news and to know that my country was suffering, like, of course, due to climate changes. But if you suffer from climate changes in a very developed country, it's something. If you suffer from climate changes in a non-developed country, the consequences are a lot bigger. So we were just watching people dying, or mothers giving birth under the trees, or in trees or in roofs, and so I was really suffering a lot. And I called my mother and I told her, like, Mom, I want to go to Mozambique. I need to do something. I can't just keep on watching the news and not doing anything. And my mother, she's a very wise woman, and she said, well, I think that you can do a lot more staying in Portugal than coming here to Mozambique, because we're here in the south of Mozambique, and we're just gathering some food and all that, but we don't know much about what's happening there, and we can't do much more than the organizations that are already there, and that the government is doing there. So maybe you can be an influence in Portugal. And that was basically what I did, because I had I've done lots of I've been involved in some charity movements, and I've always tried to be involved with some humanitarian movements, and suddenly it was my country, and then I thought, well, what I've done for other people, maybe now I can do for my people. So I think that's why you're asking me this, and I decided to organize a concert, not exactly to raise lots of money, but to bring awareness about what was happening in Mozambique and how could people actually help. So I grabbed my phone and I contacted lots of organizations that I knew that were working in Mozambique, working in healthcare, education, with children, with women, and I just wanted to gather lots of organizations that were working on field in Mozambique, and to bring awareness and to say to everybody, like, well, if you want to help, because we were all horrified with the images that we were seeing. If you want to help, these are the organizations. And I know the power that music has, and fortunately my phone book is filled with good contacts, and so I just used my friends and my contacts, and I just called from A to Z, like, hey, I wanna do a concert because of what's happening in Mozambique, and to bring awareness, can you come? And suddenly we had like 200 musicians that wanted to participate. And then this guy from he has a venue that we're actually going to be there for Womex. He had a venue. He called me and he said, "Well, Selma, people are asking me to organize a concert, but I think that the face of the concert should be you. And if you want to use my venue, you are free to use it." And then the national television, and then what was supposed to be something very small and just to bring awareness, it actually became a big event. And I was so proud of the Portuguese people for their heart, because people were really bothered with the images that they saw. And in the end, we moved not only people from Portugal, but it became an international event, because the national channel, they have an international channel, so people could actually donate from abroad and call and give money. And it was actually the first charity event that it was not focused on the Portuguese people, that has had so many people involved. And in the end, we were able not only to bring awareness on the organizations that are on field working in Mozambique, but also involving the president, the embassy of Mozambique,
You brought everybody together.
like the municipality and all that. We were able to raise more than like something around 500,000 euros. So it was really significant for the financial part, but I think that most of all because it brought awareness in a broad scale, in a big scale, and the work is still being done up until now. So I was really very emotional about that, because I was just thinking about something very small, and my mother, she was really right.
music has a really interesting power in this place, in this
Yeah.
position, and I would love for you to tell me a little bit of why. Why does music have that power? Why is that these musicians, you could have had painters, you could have had writers, you could have had a bunch of. What is it about music and musicians that catalyzed, brought people together and created something out of, transmutated? What is it about that turned it into something that actually brought, money, awareness, and action into play? This is your business. Not your business. This is your platform. What is it about that?
Yeah. Well, I think that even if you want to deny it, music is always spiritual, and music is always activist. Even if you're not a self well, even if you don't consider yourself an activist, even if you don't consider yourself a spiritual person, I think that music always has that dimension to start, because it's art, and art always changes us. You can like it, you can hate it, but it always moves you in a way, even if you're like, it doesn't tell me anything. At a second time, you're like, oh, I like it. Oh, I don't like it. So it always triggers something. And so I think that this spiritual dimension and this, sorry, and this activism that brings in your heart always moves. And I think that together with the fact that that when you sing something, most part of the times you're saying something that comes from your heart, even if you were not the composer, even if you didn't wrote, you believe in it. And when you believe in something, I think that there is nothing more interesting than the truth. And when you sing something that is truth, it always touches someone else's heart. So I think that the special thing about the music is that it's really, really, really something very spiritual, which is something that I believe that I am, and that spiritual dimension. And I'm not talking about religion. That spiritual dimension, it's something that we don't always follow it, but it's always there. It's always a layer that in a way connects us. I think that's why sometimes people from different places, from different backgrounds, suddenly feel that they are so connected, and they don't know very well why is it, because physically they're different, from the backgrounds they are different, the music is different, but in a way there's something that connects us. And I think that that's something that it's not tangible, that you cannot touch, and that dimension gathers and moves people to do something. That's why when you're in a concert and someone says raise your hand, you immediately do, like you do in a church, or like you do in a ritual, like you do in a spiritual dimension as well, because you are touched in this spiritual area from you.
There's a connection that happens, and you don't have to understand the language. You don't have to understand the culture.
No.
You could be seeing somebody perform that you have nothing in common with at all. Like, this might be the first time you've ever seen somebody from that country, or that culture, or that continent. But there's a connection that is there. So I completely agree with you.
Yeah. And then suddenly you're crying, suddenly you're laughing, suddenly you're reminiscing things from your life that are coming to you. Yeah. It's really magical music. Huh?
It really is.
So.
Do you want it? Are you ready just to be strong? Are you ready? Do you want it? Are you ready just to be strong? Utili akukuleni, utili kuleni mizaba, utili akukuleni, utili kuleni mizaba. Where do you stand? What do you believe? To whom you pray?
I am super excited that you've agreed to co-host Sama at Womex with me because I am really excited to have you speak to this, to other artists, and actually from your perspective. You know, I'm a DJ, so I've had transcendent moments in playing in front of 5,000 people and choosing songs, but it's a whole other thing when you're like going from your core and putting out this music. I've been a fan since I first heard you, so it's like there's a different kind of connection that happens there, and I'm super excited to see how that works in this environment. But I want to go back a little bit because this is an interesting time for the mother continent of Africa. There have been more African artists bubbling up globally than ever before. You know, we've had different waves, but right now, everything from obviously Afrobeats, but all of these artists are playing everywhere, all over the world. You know, we've had here in Seattle, which is, you know, kind of an outpost of the United States. You've got New York, Chicago, LA. We have an Afrobeat artist playing every weekend. We've had Burna Boy, we've had Rema, we've had Oshama, we've had Yemi Alade just recently came through weekly. So that tells me that there's a lot of attention. But it's just one part of Africa, and Africa is gigantic. And Mozambique is a huge country. And I'm always curious because when people say Africa, that's like saying Earth. It's like, what are you talking about? And it's so different. You know, you go to a place like Morocco and you go to a place like Mozambique. That's like two different continents apart from each other. Very different people, different history, but it's still the mother continent. But I'm curious, you know, you haven't been, you're Mozambican, but you're living in Lisbon, but you're a musician. I'm curious what your take is as an African artist, African diaspora. What is your interpretation of what's going on with African music right now?
Well, I think that it's something really about what you were saying, like the mother continent it's just like this spiritual dimension. I think that Africa has. I think all African. Well, I don't want to generalize it, but I think that all African artists bring this spirituality in their music, and I think that we're living in this time that we really need that our hearts, that this beat, that this beat is brought. It's a bit of joy, like most part of African music has a joyful moment, even if it's introspective. That there's always a moment of rhythm that makes you feel connected with the earth and with your ancestors and with this divine moment. I think that if you talk about Burna Boy or whoever, there's always this moment of joyfulness, but also spirituality, and I think that the world needs it. The world is a bit sick. Maybe it has always been, but because we have this huge network, and because we are so aware of what's happening. Not only in our neighborhood, but in the world, we are a lot more aware of it. We are also a lot more concerned and disturbed, even if it's just like your own depression, your own burnout. We are more disturbed with what's going around us, and I think we really need this African way of living. That it's like we said in the beginning. Like you said in the beginning, you said like, I'm so grateful that you're alive in this time. And I think the way that I see my Africanity, because I've been living here in Portugal for so many years, but I'm really very connected to my family. And one thing that I feel every time I go to Mozambique, I feel this like, oh, I wish people in Europe were a little bit more like this. People are really thankful for each day. And I think that that comes with the way that the music is done. This gratitude for being alive every day, because as Africans, we've struggled with so many things, with poverty, with wars, and so much lack of provision in so many areas that when we are alive for another day, we are really thankful for that. And I think that comes to the music dimension as well. And the world needs it, because the world needs healing. The world needs joy. The world needs a sense of community, which is something very African as well. Like African people are a lot about the community, a lot about the family, a lot about our ancestors, about a lot about the elders as well. And I think that all this way of being African, it's embraced by the music and embraced by the musicians. And of course, Africa is living the African country is living a better moment, a moment where also the tools like the internet and also, of course, the financial and the economics are better. It's a moment where you can record your own music in your own home studio, and you can spread your music to the world. So what was in the 90s unknown because you didn't have a record label or something else, nowadays with the internet it's a lot more easier for you to spread your music. So I think that these tools also make something that it wasn't reachable to be a lot closer, and suddenly it's like, what? I was losing this. I need this in my life, and so I think that's also something that is happening to African music.
Agree. You can now access artists that never had a voice before, new artists that can come in, new artists that can actually I use the term bubble up, where suddenly they're being not discovered, but they're like being revealed, or they're like people can experience them through a whole new way. And other countries, and also countries through this modality, Lagos is a huge city, Johannesburg is a huge city, Dakar are huge cities, Accra, huge cities that have airports and have direct flights to all over the world. There are countries in Africa that don't have airlines. There is no way to really get there one way or the other. So, but there are millions of people there, and there are millions of artists, and they need to also be elevated. They need to be heard. They need to be presented. And this world we're in right now allows them to do that. They don't need to go on tour. They don't need to be at Womex to be validated. They're still amazing artists. Just because they don't have the money or the resources doesn't mean they need to be silent. They need to be heard as well as anybody else. So this has been the big change for me, where it's like I keep talking about the mother continent, but it's in like also as somebody who's like completely in awe of how much is there as far as musical and artistic expressions. And it's kind of feels like this is what I want to do in this space. And I want to have other artists and other people around me to to help elevate that and to create that. I'm incredibly happy to be at Womex again, but I think it's just scratching the surface because there's so much out there all over the world.
Yeah,
and going back to what we're saying with music.
Yeah.
Go.
Yeah, I was just going to say that I feel it as a Mozambican, as a Mozambican. One of the things that sometimes people ask me, how come you got to this point of going back to Mozambican music because you live here in Portugal and all that. And one of the things that I feel is that there's so many things about the Mozambican traditional music that I didn't know, that I still have to know, and that in my lifetime I won't be able to know or to spread or to bring on stages. That's really very interesting for me as a researcher of Mozambican traditional music. There are so many things that are unknown, and all that material, all those polyphonies and polyrhythms and dances and languages and harmonies that are so different from the European or American kind of harmonies. I'm talking about harmonies because I work a lot with the gospel music. I was used to listen. Okay, the first voice, a third one, a fifth, and a seventh, and like this scale, this occidental scale that we are used to. And then suddenly I go to Mozambique. I was recently there a few months ago, 3 or 4 months ago, and then I'm listening to my grandmother singing with their friends, and it's so different. It seems a little bit out of tune, but then suddenly it touches you in a different way. So I think that we as Africans as well, like urban Africans, I need to say, the ones that live in the cities as well, we are also a little bit discovering or rediscovering, re-encountering lots of things that we didn't know, and I think that's why there are so many artists that want to engage the fact that they live in the cities, but they also wanna grab whatever comes from our own tradition that was a bit hidden because of so many things, because of European occupation, because of wars, because of lack of interest, because of lack of funds and all that. So I think it's also not only a process that is happening, that Africa is being known for the rest of the world, but I think that we are also getting to know our own identity, and we are doing that very proud movement of recognizing our culture as something beautiful, as something interesting, and all that. So I think it's also a moment that Africa is rising, because we as Africans are also rising with joy and proud of what is ours.
Vamos lá branca, só pouco mais alto. Eu contra vocês.
Right now is a very interesting experience. I've been here now for since I was 9, and seeing the change in this country, seeing the change obviously in everything from technology to awareness, but seeing the change of cultural awareness? Will people understand more so now that Africa is not just a continent, but it's actually a collection of countries that have different backgrounds, different histories, and seeing the power of music, what it can do when you walk into a show that you have no idea where this person's from, they definitely don't look like you, different rhythms, different language, etc., but you're still connecting with that person on stage, that band, and you want that with you. So it's different. It's kind of like, you know, you want to replay it over and over again. It's like that's the magic of art. It's like you want to have that moment over and over and over again, and you can in a really interesting way, and it opens you up to people from that culture. It kind of opens up your heart. You know, it just it allows a lot of that to happen. And this is one of the things I'm really excited for about Womex is that, you know, it's a place where so many different cultures, so many people from all over the world can get together, present their work, you know, hopefully get booked and share and, you know, and go out there and make a living doing what you love. But at that particular moment, it's a really interesting opportunity to discover where you are. Lisbon is a complicated city. You know, last time I was there with you, it's a Portuguese city, but it's also an Angolan city, a Mozambican city, a Ghanaian city, it's a Brazilian city. All of those things are, so it feels like a city of the future. And it's the artists, it's the musicians that are actually elevating that context, elevating that concept where, you know, this isn't the end of something, it's actually the beginning of something. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it feels like the future is going to be.
Yeah, I think that the future I think that the future is not fearing. I think it's like it looks like the fear of the unknown of a different culture is getting it's not over, but it's shrinking, and I think
it's generational. I do have to speak to this. It is generational. It's like there are certain you're seeing this right wing tilt in different countries where people like, you know, are like, I don't want to let go of power. They're going away.
Yeah, and of course, what something that you said before, like the recognition of our past, is really important for this process of moving forward, of moving to the future. I think it's important for the colonized and the enslaved people, but it's also really important for the ones who did it, even if it's the post generations, the recognition of it. Because it's not like, oh, you were guilty for Nazism. No, but the fact that you come from a country where where Nazism was something really important. It makes that the social structure is involved in that, and the way that people behave has changed because of slavery or Nazism or wars, whatever. So the recognition that this happened and it makes part of your culture makes you grow and makes you makes you go to a different level on the way that you see and the way that you get involved with other cultures. And so I think, yes, we are at this point that we are recognizing and wanting to go further with no fear of what is different, even if it's a different religion, even if it's like, for me as a Christian, like lots of Christian people, I think from the past were like, oh, you're not going to be in a Buddhist monument or with people from that they are Muslims or something. But if you are open to listen to other people's perspective, religion, and all that, you will always grow, because in the end you will. I think that you will get to the point that what unites us is really a God of love, because that's what I think that's what all the religions claim. It's about love. So in the dialogue of our differences is where the fear is gone and where the love can be spread. And so I think that's really the future. No fear. The future is no fear. Yeah.
Selma Uamusse, thank you so much.
Thank you, Tarek. You are an amazing host, and you were saying that you were excited about what's happening in Womex, but I'm really very excited. I hope that you can feel it, and I'm looking forward for what's going to happen in Lisbon, and getting to know other artists, and to be with you, of course, and let's hope that we do beautiful
let's
things.
Talk business for a second. You have a new record coming? Are you recording? What's going on? I know you just had congratulations on the new baby. That's amazing.
Yeah,
but I'm also
you.
Curious, like, are you, what's going on with that?
Well, every baby comes with a new album. Well, every baby comes with a new album, and that's not.
Jesus Christ,
yes.
that's a lot of pressure on you. It's like your
yeah,
20th record.
So
what are you going to do?
Yes. Well, my last album is from 2020, so it's not a long time ago, especially thinking of the pandemic. So this year, the rest of the year 2022, it's going to be a bit focused on two things. Starting to compose a new album that I hope that I can present a new album in 2023, but also to work a little bit in the international field, because it was something that wasn't able to happen in the last 2 years because of the pandemic and the post-pandemic, because there were consequences on it, like all the venues that were overbooked and all that. So I hope that the next year and a half can be focused on those two things, working on the composition and recording of a new album, and playing all over the world. I will be going to Womex, and I hope that it's also really good for me. But immediately after, I'm going to Mexico. A day after, I'm going to Mexico, and we'll be touring there for the first time. So I hope it has lots of fruits. I'm working with a Spanish agency as well. Hopefully, I will start to working with other agencies from different countries. So hoping for the best with no fear.
Perfect. Yeah. You're going to love Mexico.
Oh, I hope. I'm sure I will. I'm sure I will.
No, it's an amazing, ancient, amazing culture, and some of the best food I've ever had in my life.
Oh yes, for the food, I'm sure that I will. I will love it. I'm already preparing myself. I'm eating guacamole almost every day, but I know that it's not. Good. It's not everything.
But no, it's
but yes, and we're actually playing at this festival that it seems to be very nice for what I've been seeing. Cervantino, and we have also other venues, but I'm really looking forward, because this Cervantino, it's an international festival with lots of different kind of music, from classical music to traditional music to urban music. So I'm really looking forward not only to perform, but also to listen to other artists, which is something that I really enjoy. If I could just live on going to other people's concert, I would do that. It would be a profession for me. Yeah, it would be a profession for me. So, perfect. Yeah.
Thank you, Selma Uamusse. Really appreciate it very much. Be well, be safe, and I will see you at Womex.
Thank you, Tarek, and see you soon. And thank you to everybody that was listening to us.
Thank you so much. And watching. Hey, everybody, thank you for supporting Selma. Please subscribe, please like, please share. Whether you're watching us on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch, let people know that we're doing this kind of work. We'll see you at Womex, and then more recently, we're going to see you at the Thing Festival at Fort Worden outside of Seattle. We just were at the Vancouver Festival, and then after Womex, we're going to be in Poland for some great work too. So lots of artists from all over the world sharing their work with you. Thanks. Be well. Peace.